Hey there guys. So inspired by a few people's profiles, I'm going to give you a little bit of a tour of my bookshelf. So here we go. Right down at the bottom, all the way down here, we have all of my books on writing and literature, essays, theory, how to make poems, and a little bit of art stuff as well, because I did a photography degree. Moving along, we have books that I really should classify. There's like guides to Tolkien's world and how to keep birds and all sorts of weird stuff here that I just haven't had time to go through since I moved. I did move a while ago. Moving back, we have, these are some of my favorite books of all time, so these are ones that I keep hold of. You've got loads of books here mixed in that I enjoy reading or I want to return to, and even some by authors that I have enjoyed but I just haven't finished off reading. We're going along. We got sci-fi and fantasy coming up. Starts with sci-fi, goes through into a little bit of fantasy. Not the genre that I love, but there's a few different bits and pieces. Then moving across, we've got a bit of a spillover from the shelves above because there's just a few bits and pieces in here that I enjoy. I enjoyed reading, but I didn't really have the placement for it. Moving up, we have my short story collections. So it starts off with the sort of anthologies and then moves along. You've got sort of modern short stories, Japanese short stories. My favourite short story collection, The Dog of Marriage by Amy Hempel. Absolutely fantastic. No one writes a story like her. And then all the way along, we've got some Roald Dahl, American short stories, flash fiction, and we carry on along. More short stories. And these are again books that I love, that I've read and enjoyed enough to keep hold of. William Trevor is a fantastic collection of short stories. And then moving across, we've got the iconic House of Leaves. No book collection is complete without that. Moving up, I have a bit of a thing for Lawrence Durrell, and so I have the Alexandria Quartet, and then I have the Alexandria Quartet several times over. So Justine, the first in the collection, I have two versions of, because they're just beautiful and I love collecting his work. And then a little bit up, we're going across, move the camera out the way, there we go. So here we've got a load of penguins, a load more penguins, this time classics. Moving across, we've got some Oxfords, a few more penguins, a few more vintage. Moving across again, we have the orange spines, so it's like sort of political, smart thinking stuff. Then we've got all the modern classics all the way along. Just keep going forever. I did have these in alphabetical order, but they're way out of that now. And then there's not enough space, so of course they're on top as well. Also, I've got my vintage minis there as well, and these smaller penguins as well. Moving on up, we have a particular interest of mine is, oh yeah, a bit of humour. We've also got some religious stuff on here. Yeah, a bit of an interest of mine is religious, theology and philosophy. So you're moving all the way across, you've got Christian stuff, you've got Buddhist stuff, you've got atheist humanism, and then you move across, you've got the occult, you've got a few different books on sort of folklore and mythology. Then moving across, this is where I keep my favourite writers, other than of course Lawrence Durrell, who needs his own shelf. We have Muffin Peak, who's absolutely fantastic. I've got lots and lots of his work. You probably noticed it down in the fantasy section as well, just because I ran out of space here. But I've got some books that I've really enjoyed, a bit of Hemingway, a bit of Mann, Camus, and then Miller, and then William Golding, Robert Goddard, And moving into D.M. Thomas, quite a lot of D.M. Thomas's work. Harry Crews, Southern American writer, absolutely powerful and raw. More D.M. Thomas. And Anne Michaels, my favourite fiction writer. Then if we go up, we go into non-fiction again. So here we have justice and ethics and philosophy, all different types. Moving along, a few more bits and pieces, smart thinking, a little bit of popular science, theory, philosophy. Moving back down, lots of Derrida on language, Stephen King on writing, that should probably be somewhere else. And there's another Michaels there, which we should probably replace down the bottom. But then we've got some other books that I've enjoyed because I just lose the will to organise. So there's loads of bits and pieces, Murakami, Hanif Qureshi. At the top I've got even more stuff just stacked up at the top. These are new books as well, I just haven't got space for. And Normal People at the very, very top, because I'll never read that ever again. And then I should probably give that to somebody. Right, and then this is your classics. So this is Iliad and the Odes, Socrates, a little bit here and there, collected poems by Lawrence Durrell. I've got a bit of Lemons, which is my favourite collection by him. And bits and pieces, loads of Orwell's letters and journals. And loads more penguins there, but philosophy based. Some Richard Adams at the top, Watership Down, which is one of my favourite books. And we've just got some letters by Ted Hughes. The Crossway, which is fantastic. And some nature writing as well outside there. And then we come down into the new shelf, which has all the books that I've bought recently, including some I bought today, that I intend on reading shortly. So you've got Stuart Lee, Pynchon, you've got Ballard, you've got Rachel Cusk, and a bunch of other stuff, along with Humankind, which I'm really looking forward to reading. Then you go down here, we've got some more sociology and some politics, a little bit of the fabric of the cosmos, stuff on chaos theory, and you've got a book of nothing about numbers. Then some more, this is nature writing, this is where I'm from, so that's some nature writing about that. And one of my favourite books, Pip Pip, about time. And this, on the other side we have some more folklore, British superstitions. You've got some Hart Crane poems. Again, I need to put these in like the relevant genre areas. Some more nature writing, little bits and pieces that I bought recently to give it a go. And this one I was given. On the shelf below it we have more poetry. This is Spillover from my poetry shelf, which is here. So here we've got some Bukowski, quite a lot of that. We've got some Women of the Beat Generation, all sorts of really good stuff. Ted Hughes. We've even got, if we move my photo, a little bit by Jim Morrison, which was surprisingly good. And a few bits and pieces like these are great interviews of the 20th century. I think they came in The Guardian, but then you've got great poets of the 20th century as well, so they're a lovely little resource. Going down, have some more poetry behind the dome thing. All sorts of really lovely books. One of my favourites, R.S. Thomas. His work's fantastic. Derek Walcott. Way along, Robert Minhinnock, one of my favourite poets again. I just had so many favourites. And then further down, we have the Spillover stuff again. Loads of popular science. Books that I mean to get to at some point. And onto my coffee table, where we have some magazines, some essays. This is a blogger who got really good stuff. Actually, Sally Rooney's a big fan of those essays, so that's why I bought them, to better understand. Then there's collected stories, but Bret Easton Ellis, Nickel Boys, Discomfort of Evening, which I'm reading currently, but it's really hard going, so I've got my little bookmark in there, but yeah, it is a hard one. Along with what else I'm reading, the Quran, and then all these other ones here. Got some fantastic new titles, along with some journals and things. If I move the candle, we also have some of the Faber mini books here. There we go. I think just to finish us off, this is a full overview of all the reading that I've done this year so far. So, got a little bit of everything now. It's not in any particular order, I just sort of stuck it in where it would fit. And every time I finish a book, it goes on the top of here, just so I know how far along I am. Well, I hope you enjoyed my little bookshelf tour. Say goodbye, Sam.